Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. What if I told you that 99% of men completely miss this one simple habit that instantly makes women notice, and even secretly love, you more? It's not about flashy moves, fancy words, or trying to be someone you're not. It's something deeper, rooted in how you carry yourself and respond to the world, something the ancient Stoics mastered centuries ago. Most men chase after superficial tricks, but the real game changer lies in a quiet, powerful mindset that most overlook. Imagine having that calm confidence, that magnetic stillness, that effortless way of being that naturally draws women in without you having to say a word. This video is your key to unlocking that rare trait, the Stoic secret that 99% of men ignore but women can't help but admire. Stick with me until the very end, because I'm going to break it down step by step. You'll learn how to embody it yourself and see the difference immediately, not just in attraction, but in your entire presence. Don't skip a second. The full impact only hits when you grasp every part. Let's dive in and reveal what most men never even try to understand. Number 1. Demonstrating unwavering loyalty and consistency. Listen closely, because this is where most men miss the mark, and where you have the chance to stand out in a way that women deeply notice and appreciate. It's not about grand gestures or flashy words. It's about unwavering loyalty and consistency, a steady flame in a world of flickering distractions. Women are drawn not to those who change with every breeze, but to those who stand firm, who show up day after day, steady and true. This isn't a show you put on. It's a state of being you cultivate. Stoicism teaches us that true strength lies in discipline and perseverance. Reminds us, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. That's your call to action. Be the man whose loyalty doesn't waver when things get tough or when attention shifts elsewhere. You need to understand that loyalty isn't a one-time offer or a momentary decision. It's a habit, a way of living. It's about aligning your words and actions so tightly that trust becomes inevitable. Imagine how magnetic you become when she knows, without question, that you are consistent in your character and your care. This reliability isn't boring, it's deeply attractive. It signals a calm confidence that doesn't need to prove itself constantly. You're not playing games or sending mixed signals. Instead, you're showing a quiet resilience, a steady heart that doesn't falter. Epictetus said, "No great thing is created suddenly, and loyalty is no different. It grows through deliberate practice, through countless small moments where you choose to stand by your principles and your people." Start by examining your daily habits. Are you someone who follows through? Do your actions mirror your promises? If you want to build that unshakable loyalty, you have to start small and be relentless. This means being punctual, keeping your word, and showing up even when you don't feel like it. It's the little things, consistent attention to what matters, remembering details, being present, that build a fortress of trust. When you are reliable in these simple ways, you create a foundation that withstands storms. The key is not perfection but persistence. Keep showing up. Keep choosing loyalty when it's easier to drift or disconnect. This kind of steadfastness does something profound in the dynamic between you and her. It creates safety, a rare and powerful feeling that women instinctively seek. It tells her that you are not just in it for the good times but ready to navigate whatever comes with calm assurance. And this, more than any flashy charm or momentary passion, makes you unforgettable. When she feels this kind of dependable loyalty, it sparks a connection rooted in respect and genuine care. It's the silent promise that you won't abandon the relationship when challenges arise. To cultivate this, practice daily exercises that build your discipline and presence. For example, commit to one small act of reliability every day. It might be sending a thoughtful message without being asked or simply listening fully when she speaks. These actions aren't grand, but they compound. They reinforce the mindset that loyalty is an active choice, not a passive state. Remember Seneca's words, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." Be present in your loyalty now. Show it consistently, without hesitation or doubt. You're forging a version of yourself that others can lean on, that others trust, and that commands respect without demanding it. This isn't about being perfect, it's about being real, dependable, and grounded. Women notice this. They feel it deep down, even if it's unspoken. And here's the Stoic secret. Loyalty isn't something you do for them, it's something you become. By embodying this steadfastness, you're not only improving your relationships, you're mastering yourself. And in mastering yourself, you become the kind of man women don't just like but deeply admire and want to be close to. So take this seriously. Practice loyalty as a daily discipline. Show up, be steady, be true. The payoff isn't just in her admiration, but in the calm confidence you'll carry with you through every part of your life. This is the kind of man who leaves a lasting impact, not by chasing affection, but by being unshakably loyal and consistent every single day. Number 2, maintaining calm and steady emotional control. Here's a truth that most men completely miss. Women are deeply drawn to a man who can maintain calm and steady emotional control. It's not about suppressing your feelings or pretending you're unshakable like some kind of robot. It's about mastering your inner world so your reactions don't run wild like a storm at sea. Imagine yourself as the calm harbor where the chaos of the outside world meets peace. This is what real emotional control looks like, and it's one of the most magnetic traits you can develop. The Stoics had it right when Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." When you embody this, you signal strength without aggression, presence without tension, and confidence without arrogance. You need to understand something essential. Emotional control isn't about bottling up or ignoring your feelings. It's about recognizing them, feeling them fully, and then choosing how to respond with intention rather than impulse. This takes practice. It takes self-awareness, and it requires you to slow down in moments where most men speed up in reaction. When you feel irritation creeping in or anxiety rising, instead of snapping or withdrawing, take a deep breath. Pause. Acknowledge the feeling without judgment. Then decide the best way to act. That pause, just a brief moment, is a game changer. It transforms you from a man who's tossed by every wave into the steady captain of his ship. Here, something you can start doing today. Practice this deliberate pause in low-stakes moments. When someone cuts you off in conversation, don't rush to react. Instead, breathe and silently remind yourself, "This doesn't control me." When frustration builds over something small, tell yourself, "I choose my response." Over time, these small acts of control build muscle memory for your mind and emotions. Soon, you'll find that even in bigger challenges, your calm doesn't crack. You hold your ground. You stay steady. And that steadiness is incredibly attractive because it creates safety and trust. People want to be around someone who doesn't make every little thing a crisis. Said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. This means the world throws all kinds of nonsense your way every day, but none of it has to shake you unless you let it. When you keep your emotional center solid, you show a deep kind of resilience that draws people in naturally. Women, in particular, notice this. They sense when a man can stay composed through uncertainty and stress. It signals to them that you're reliable, trustworthy, and confident, not because you boast or try hard, but because you simply are. Imagine the difference it makes when, instead of reacting with irritation or desperation, you respond with calm and clarity. You don't feed the drama, you diffuse it. You don't get pulled into emotional chaos. You navigate through it with steady hands. This isn't a weakness, it's a profound strength. It tells her you can handle whatever life throws at you, and that creates a magnetic pull. You become someone she can count on, someone whose presence soothes rather than excites anxiety. One practical exercise you can try is mindfulness meditation, even for just a few minutes a day. This practice sharpens your awareness of your thoughts and feelings, helping you catch emotional surges before they take over. Another simple habit is journaling at night, writing down moments where your emotions ran high and reflecting on how you could respond differently next time. These tools train your mind to stay calm, steady, and intentional. Remember, this is a skill. Like any skill, it improves with practice, patience, and persistence. Don't expect perfection overnight. Instead, commit to becoming the kind of man who controls his emotions instead of letting them control him. Because when you do, you unlock a secret weapon in the game of attraction and life. You become a calm force in a noisy world, and women absolutely love that. Number 3, practicing deep, active listening without distractions. Listen closely, because this might be the most overlooked secret in your arsenal: deep, active listening. Most men think they're listening, but their minds are wandering, distracted, or already crafting a reply before she's even finished speaking. That's exactly why 99% of men miss the mark, and why women notice when you don't. When you practice deep, active listening without distractions, you're doing more than just hearing words. You're showing that her thoughts, feelings, and presence truly matter to you. This kind of attention isn't just rare, it's magnetic. Reminded us, nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul. When you learn to quiet your internal chatter and focus fully on her, you create a sacred space where genuine connection can flourish. You have to get intentional about this. It's not enough to just be physically present while your mind drifts to your phone, your to-do list, or the noise around you. That doesn't count as listening. True listening demands your full engagement. When she speaks, you don't interrupt, you don't rush to fix or solve, and you don't plan your next statement. Instead, you tune into the rhythm of her voice, the subtle shifts in emotion, the meaning between the lines. This takes discipline, a discipline that mirrors the Stoic ideal of mastering your impulses and focusing your attention where it matters most. Epictetus said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." The wisdom here is simple. You win by listening more and talking less. So how do you train yourself to listen deeply? Start by eliminating distractions. Put your phone away, turn off the noise. Physically orient yourself toward her, look into her eyes, soften your face, relax your body. When you do this, you're not just passively absorbing words, you're actively receiving her presence. Your silence becomes an offering, your calmness, a signal that she is safe to open up. And it's not just about what she says. It's about how she says it, the emotions beneath the words, the pauses and breaths that reveal her inner world. When you pay attention to these subtle cues, you build an unspoken trust that she feels deeply. This is a practice you cultivate, like a muscle that strengthens with use. Try this exercise. During your next conversation, count to 3 silently after she finishes speaking before you respond. That brief pause may feel awkward at first, but it's a powerful way to stop your mind from rushing ahead. It forces you to stay present and shows her that you value her words enough to let them fully settle. Over time, this slows your mental chatter, deepens your focus, and sharpens your empathy. You become someone who's not just heard, but truly understood. The impact. Women sense this attentiveness. It's like a quiet magnetism that pulls them in without effort or showiness. You demonstrate respect not by grand gestures, but by the simple act of being fully there. The Stoics teach us to accept things as they are, but that doesn't mean you passively drift through conversations. Instead, choose to be fully engaged with the reality before you. As Seneca said, true happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. When you listen deeply, you're savoring the present moment, the most genuine form of connection. This habit ripples into all areas of your life. When you truly listen, your responses become more thoughtful, your relationships more authentic, and your presence more commanding. You become a man who doesn't just hear words but understands people, a rare quality that naturally draws women toward you. So take up this challenge today. Put away distractions. Slow your mind. Open your heart and ears fully to what's being shared. Practice this consistently and watch how your connections deepen, your confidence grows, and your life transforms. Because the man who masters the art of deep, active listening holds a power that no flashy words or superficial charm can match. Number 4, showing genuine humility and admitting mistakes. There's a simple truth many men overlook, and it's something women deeply notice. When you show genuine humility and admit your mistakes, this isn't about weakness or apologizing just to appease. It's about real strength, the kind that comes from owning your flaws without ego getting in the way. Reminded us that the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. When you admit where you've gone wrong, you're not just clearing the path. You're transforming the obstacle into an opportunity to grow, to become better, and to show the kind of integrity that women instinctively respect. Admitting mistakes isn't a public declaration of failure. It's a quiet, powerful act of honesty with yourself and with others. It requires courage to say, "I was wrong," and even more courage to learn from that moment and move forward without defensiveness. Too often, men feel pressured to be perfect, to maintain an image of control and competence at all times. But that facade can crumble under the weight of unrealistic expectations, and ironically, it pushes people away instead of drawing them closer. Women see through pretense. They appreciate a man who is grounded in reality, who can face his shortcomings with calm acceptance rather than denial or excuses. You have to practice this kind of humility like a muscle. It starts by being mindful of your reactions when you're confronted with feedback, criticism, or a clear sign you've made a mistake. Don't rush to defend yourself or justify your actions. Pause. Reflect. Consider the possibility that the fault might be yours, not as a blow to your ego, but as a chance to improve. Epictetus taught that it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Your response shapes your character more than the mistake itself. If you respond with openness and accountability, you're building trust and respect, cornerstones of any meaningful connection. Try this exercise. The next time you realize you're wrong or have hurt someone unintentionally, take a moment before reacting. Breathe deeply. Then speak honestly. Say, "I see now that I was mistaken. I'm sorry." Simple words, but they carry weight because they come from a place of authenticity. Over time, this practice rewires your mind to see mistakes not as threats, but as opportunities to deepen your self-awareness and your relationships. It's a mark of true confidence, not insecurity. When you consistently show that you can admit fault without losing composure, you demonstrate a mastery over your own pride. This mastery is magnetic. It signals that you are emotionally mature, capable of growth, and willing to be vulnerable in a way that feels safe for others. This is the kind of humility that isn't about lowering yourself. It's about standing tall in your truth, even when it's uncomfortable. Women are drawn to this strength, this clarity, this realness that defies the usual bravado many men display. Remember, humility is not submission. It is freedom from the chains of ego. It frees you to connect on a deeper level and invites others to do the same. To quote Seneca, "No man was ever wise by chance." Wisdom requires you to admit when you do know, when you have erred, and to adjust accordingly. This is not just good for relationships, it is good for your own peace of mind. You owe it to yourself to cultivate this habit. Start small, practice daily honesty with yourself, and extend that honesty outward. Watch how your presence shifts when you no longer hide behind perfection but embrace the fullness of your humanity. Women will notice. They will appreciate not only your honesty, but your willingness to grow, to evolve, to be a man who is real and reliable. This is the rare quality that 99% of men overlook, and it's exactly what makes you unforgettable. Number 5. Prioritizing actions over empty words consistently. Here's a truth that cuts straight through all the noise. Women don't just listen to what you say, they watch what you do. Words, they're cheap. Anybody can promise, claim, or flatter. But when your actions back up your intentions, that's when trust is built, respect is earned, and genuine attraction takes root. Stoicism teaches us that virtue isn't in talking about being good or strong, it's in living it. Reminded himself daily, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. That means it's time for you to stop spinning stories and start living the story you want others to believe. You might think expressing yourself through grand speeches or elaborate promises shows confidence, but without follow-through, it rings hollow. You want to be the man who walks his talk, not the one who dazzles with words but leaves a trail of disappointment. Women are wired to notice consistency, reliability, and the quiet strength behind deliberate actions. When you act with intention, showing up when it matters, keeping your word, taking responsibility without excuses, you're building something far more valuable than a clever line. You're building a reputation rooted in integrity and authenticity. This isn't about perfection or never slipping up, it's about commitment. When you prioritize what you do over what you say, you are sending a clear message. You respect yourself and others enough to be dependable. Epictetus said, "Well-being is attained little by little, and nevertheless is no little thing itself." The little things you do daily, keeping promises, showing up on time, following through on plans compound. They create a foundation of trust that no words alone can achieve. Every consistent action you take strengthens your presence, making you someone who is not just heard but felt. To turn this into a habit, start by auditing where your words haven't matched your actions. Are you making promises you can't keep? Do you say you'll call or text but don't? Begin small. Commit to doing what you say, no matter how minor the task. Set realistic intentions and follow them through. If you tell someone you'll meet them, be there, not just physically but mentally and emotionally. The power of showing up consistently will surprise you. It becomes a magnet, quietly drawing people closer because it demonstrates you're reliable and grounded. Another way to live this truth is by focusing on what you can control. You can't always influence how others respond or what they think, but you can control whether you act with honesty and discipline. Seneca taught that no man is free who is not master of himself. Mastery of yourself means mastering the gap between your words and your actions. Close that gap daily and watch how it changes not just how others see you, but how you see yourself. Finally, build rituals that reinforce this principle. Before you make a promise, pause and consider if you can realistically keep it. When you finish a task, reflect on whether you gave it your best effort. When you communicate, focus on clarity and truth, not on impressing. These small shifts develop a habit of prioritizing substance over show. Over time, you become a man whose actions do the talking, whose presence speaks louder than any speech. This is the secret that 99% of men overlook, and it's why women find it so attractive. It's not flashy or loud, it's steady, reliable, and authentic. It's the quiet power of integrity lived daily. So start now. Make your actions your words. Live with the conviction that your deeds will echo louder than your promises. This is how you build trust, command respect, and become unforgettable. So here's the truth. Most men overlook this simple, powerful move, and that's exactly why it stands out so much. When you start mastering this, you're not just becoming more attractive, you're stepping into a higher version of yourself. Remember, it's not about chasing validation. It's about embodying confidence, calm, and authenticity. That's the Stoic way. If you found value in this, don't just watch once. Watch it again, take notes, and begin applying it today. Your mindset and presence will shift, and trust me, women notice that energy more than words ever could. Hit that like button if this spoke to you, and subscribe for more wisdom that cuts through the noise and helps you become the man you're meant to be. Stay calm, stay steady, and keep walking the Stoic path. I'll see you in the next video.